Hey everyone, what's going on? I'm your host Dave Trash here with you once again on TWN to bring you the news of what's going on here on TWC. Now, we haven't had a show in a couple months, but with very good reason, and we'll get to that later on in the show. But first, let's take care of some news. The second Moderator Podcast has been released. You can join Pontifex, Hater, John Wayne, and Leonidas Line as they recount their lives as mods here on TWN. And the Eagle Standard has an exclusive interview with the one and the only modding god, King Kong. So be sure to go ahead and read that. And now we have Mods to Watch with Testudo Aubrey.
War of the Gods Ancient Wars will port Rome Total War over to Medieval 2, offering buildings, textures, units, traits, and events, with an emphasis on the Greek and Roman factions beginning in 272 BC. Create your own ancient empire during the classical days of Greek hoplites up to the days of barbarian Celtic and German tribes fighting for their existence against the mighty Romans. Keep up with the mod and visit the War of the Gods thread in the Whips, Ideas, and Proposals forum.
Alright, obviously that wasn't the powerful voice of Testudo Aubrey. He had some more pressing issues to take care of, so we had Pancake stand in for him this time. Don't worry, Testudo will be back for the next TWN with Mods to Watch. And now we have something very special to show off to you guys. We've been working on it for a couple of months, and without further ado, the big reveal. There you have it. It's Dominion of the Sword. Your eyes do not deceive you. It's live and it's in action. We want to thank the entire Dominion of the Sword team for allowing us to have access to the mod, and today we're going to take you through the campaign map and we're going to have a little bit of fun, so let's get started. And this time around we are going to be starting off with England. Okay, here we are right over England in the campaign map, everything looking absolutely fantastic. There's tons to get to, so let's get started with, obviously, the most noticeable thing is all the settlements we have all around the place. Of course, these are permanent stone forts. They're going to be playing a big part in Dominion of the Sword. No longer are you just going to be able to land on the southern coast of England here and head right towards London, take that over, and then automatically take over the entire region. You're going to have to work your way and take out all of these permanent stone forts and their garrisons. And of course, every single one of these represents a real-life settlement. And if we zoom in here, we can see that they all have their own little specific models. Here we have one with more basic defenses. Here's some more advanced ones. Here's a castle we have here, and a very basic fort. Really cool thing that the Dominion of the Sword team has been able to do is give these places names. So let's go over here. We have Salisbury, Gloucester. Don't get angry at me if I pronounce some of these wrong, guys. We have Bristol all the way up here, Newcastle, King's Lynn, Castle Acre. So that's definitely an awesome touch that all of these have names. So you know, these settlements just aren't sitting here. Of course, the settlements will be able to generate some income and some other goodies like, I believe, ancillaries and whatnot. So these are more than just eye candy. They're going to change up a lot of things in the game. And say here, let's say you were going to land here. Of course, you can't land over here because there's cliffs. So let's say you're going to land here and you're going to have to fight your way through the English countryside in order to get to London. So once you get in game into the campaign, once everyone starts filling out their garrisons, it's definitely going to be pretty hard to work your way around. It's going to change a lot of things tactically. Here we can see some settlements right across a bridge, right across a passing here, so you're not just going to be able to walk around freely in enemy territory. So it's going to be pretty awesome to see how this just changes up the gameplay once the mod gets released. And now let's look at some of the user interface. Here we can see here everyone gets a total makeover to give themselves a unique feel. Here we can see some of the standard UI buttons and coins, sun and moon. Here we have the map cartography lines showing everywhere. Let's head into the buildings. Here we can see some changes to everything. Of course, there's some placeholders all over the place, and those will be changing as the mod continues. And let's take a look at the building browser. Of course, ton of new things have been added. It's some really cool stuff. There's a ton to get to, so let's just cover some of the more interesting things. Here we have the different governing systems. Sorry, there's not images there yet, but as we can see, there's tons of different options you can have. Here we have good parliament, quorum regem, I'm assuming that the Latin, Westminster Hall, Here we have some stuff that it can do. Everything's going to have its own, of course, its own things that it can do. Like here, with training costs reduced by, wow, negative 60%. And that's interesting, allows races to be held. And these were of English capital. Here's some English land laws, colony government, provincial charters. So they're really changing it up now, how you can run your faction. Heading down, here's some interesting things of river trade, of course, river market, river port, you know, the basic stuff. Another interesting thing, the slave trade, and this is going to have some interesting effects on your settlements, like we see here, public order due to happiness, -5. It's a very interesting addition there to have slave trade. And a big thing that we're going to have in Dominion of the Sword is representation of different religions in a faction. Of course, we all know in the standard vanilla version of the game, once you take over a region, all of a sudden, let's say you're a Catholic faction, all of a sudden Catholicism is the game in town, and let's say you took over an Orthodox faction and they're gone, they're going to be taken out quickly, and Catholicism will quickly be 100% in your faction. That's not going to be the case in Dominion of the Sword, because we're going to be able to build Orthodox Christianity buildings, as we can see here, and we are going to be able to have Judaism present as well. That's a big thing. Usually Judaism would be around 2%, and then by the 10th turn into the campaign it would be 0%. And you can see here that, of course, building different buildings for different religions, that's going to convert more people, so it's going to be interesting to see. You're going to have a big balance, you can cause some conflict, and of course building various buildings of other religions is going to allow for some perks as well, so that's definitely changing up gameplay. So it should be interesting to see how that's all handled. Little wax button, looks really cool. Next, let's take a look at the campaign map. Look, it looks absolutely beautiful here. They've done some great work with the textures here, some farmland. Everything's looking very nice. Personally, I haven't seen cliffs in the past in other mods, so that's a first for me, and it looks really awesome. Let's head over and show off the family tree. Of course, the team has done a ton of research into the histories of, the royal families and whatnot. Here we see Robert de Normandy, the founder of the dynasty here, King William. We have everyone here. Everyone's all correct. They all actually existed. Let's head over to your generals, your military forces. And as you can see here, we have a ton of generals to start out the game. And this is when the game starts. We're used to having, say, 3 or 4 generals once a game starts off. And usually they're all part of your royal family. But here we have just a ton of guys ready to do your bidding, do your will. So here, King William, where is he? He's over here in Rouen, in the English foothold here in France. There's some other guys around here. The De Gale brothers, I'm assuming. I don't know, I think they're brothers, but they're all here together, hanging out, terrorizing the French countryside. So you're gonna have a ton of guys all over the place. Let's see here. I'll also show off some movement map. Of course, this is greatly exaggerated, but just showing off some movement, seeing where guys could head off. Let's head north into Scotland, see what's going on up there. Yeah, see, runs into a Scottish fort, and that is quite the Scottish fort in Carlisle. That is going to be tough to take out there. And in here, here we have a guy, Alan Rufus, very sad looking fellow here, in the garrisons of various cities and towns. Right now they're just basic peasants hanging out there. Yeah, so that is a look at England at the moment, and let's use the all-powerful toggle fog of war. Let's take a look at the rest of the British Isles. Over here we have Wales. They have some names as well. Don't want to try and pronounce those. I can pronounce that. Pembroke. Let's head north into Alba, into Scotland. We can see what they're dealing with here. Not all too much going on. Head out west to Ireland. And look at sad little island over here, just one city. Hopefully we'll get some more love. It would be a shame if Ireland fell just by taking one city. Back west. So yeah, there is a look at England and some of the other stuff that's going on in game. And we're gonna head over to another faction right now. Okay, here we are with Sicily, and we're going to take a look at these guys and see what's going on. First, comment on the user interface here, some statues. Virgin Mary, Baby Jesus, very nice. Hope you've been keeping an ear on the music. It's some fantastic stuff. Every faction is going to have their own little playlist of specific music, and it really adds to the overall atmosphere of the game. So, let's take a look here at Sicily, and not all of the permanent stone forts models have been set, so right now these are just still the basic permanent stone fort look. Here in the middle we can see without a garrison, you're gonna have a little faction icon in here so you know what belongs to who, so that's definitely a nice touch. Let's head in here and check out the family tree, and it's a pretty big family. Some great research and work that's been done by the team, and take a look at that. No doubt once you get into the later stages of your campaign, these family trees are definitely going to be pretty big, so take a look at that. And now, Lorenzo, what are you doing so far south? Let's see here the rest of Sicily with Taranto and Melfi. Not much going on here. That rebel city of Napoli isn't sitting well with me, so
march.
Let's take that out. Let's bring that under our control here.
Lord. Combining forces, my lord. As you will, my lord. We march
and just
to
walk
battle.
right in. And now Napoli belongs
the enemy are
to Sicily.
The enemy has
trade
fallen.
Increases.
We are
well.
victorious.
Fair rule, of course. Religiously improper. And let's see what else we can do around here. Let's take out that Imperial fort. It belongs to the Holy Roman Empire.
Orders?
Not a big fan of having them in our land, so let's take that out.
Bringing our troops together.
Bring it under our control.
Closing for battle.
We must lay siege. With ladders. Yeah, let's just do ladders.
Maintaining the siege.
And of course, war between the both of us. Relations worsened. And while we wait for that to unfold, let's take a look at some of the buildings that have been placed in here. Show building browser, and here we have Sicilian government, colony, provincial charters, and here's what we're looking for. You can start out with your basic provincial charter and build your way up. Here we have peasantry, towns, all the way to suburbs, and of course they all come with their own little knacks. Here, public health bonus, negative 15%, and public order bonus due to law, negative 10%, which is interesting since you would think suburbs would be a little healthier and happier than that. And as I mentioned when we were covering England, that you're going to have different religions present, and here we have Sunni and Shia Islam. So it's definitely going to be pretty interesting to see how factions with not only Christianity and Judaism, but also Islam handle all of that. It's going to be, just the whole balancing game, since every single building religious building you build, it's going to have a religion conversion bonus. So, some interesting things can unfold from that. And we have castle, fortress, citadel, some great images that are rolling out. Of course, once all these placeholders are taken out, we're going to have some pretty interesting things here, like sanitation, aqueduct. No. Well, we'll let them hold that siege out versus the Holy Roman Empire, and let's move on to the rest of the Italian peninsula here, especially as we get into northern Italy. We can see it gets very crowded here. We have 4 factions. We have Venice, the Holy Roman Empire, the Comuni Liberi and Comuni Toscani, and of course the Papal States. So this is a great area just for some good old-fashioned total war. Sieges left and right. Definitely going to be, quite the task to bring all of the Italian peninsula under your control. And now let's head north into the lands of the Holy Roman Empire, and as you can see, it's permanent stone forts galore. I mean, if you're starting out as the Holy Roman Empire, you're going to be sitting pretty defensively, especially as soon as you start filling out some garrisons. And if you're looking to take out the Holy Roman Empire, good luck. It's definitely going to be quite the task. And of course, if we zoom in here, we can see that all of these are still just your basic fort. Of course, all of the different models haven't been implemented yet, and the names haven't been put in yet, but that will all change once the mod comes out. So take a look at that. Lands of the Holy Roman Empire. Good luck if you're trying to take these guys on. And yeah, let's move on to another part of the world here. Let's head to northern Africa and take a look at that. That looks absolutely beautiful, the textures that we have here. Here in the Atlas Mountains, yes, I believe that's correct. And we're usually used to seeing the, the cities and the forts of northern Africa, actually being pretty large. But here we can see that here we have Murakush. It's actually just a little Moorish village, Fes. We're all familiar with that. And here, just a little village, just another little one. So it's looking like northern Africa to start out isn't nearly as intimidating as it is in other mods and in the vanilla game. Of course, the permanent stone forts haven't been put in yet, but overall, it doesn't look like the Moors are going to be as much of a pain in the butt as they are in other mods. Usually with them sweeping up into Spain and just being a pain in the butt for anyone playing as an Iberian faction. So let's take a look at the rest of northern Africa. What's going on? Not much. Very desolate, barren place. We have some more textures of the sand and then the Sahara Desert. And let's move on to another part of the world. Where should we go? Let's go to Greece. And here we have Greece. Once again, the permanent stone forts haven't been placed in yet, but we can get a good feel of Greece, how it's going to look once the mod's released. Let's move over to the grand city of Constantinople, of course. Control all this area controlled by the Byzantines. Here we can see some units just kind of hanging out here in Turkey. Around here. Zoom out. And there is Greece. Alright, let's go to some last place, very lonely place. And here to Iceland. That's right, you can take Iceland and bring that under your control. It's a nice little isolated fortification you can build up here if you're ever getting pummeled here. And I believe, let's follow the road to, yes, the Faroe Islands. Bring the Faroe Islands under your control. How about that? Alright, let's move back over here. And so yeah, that's going to be it for this exclusive sneak peek at Dominion of the Sword. We here at TWN, we want to thank Pross, the mod leader, and the entire Dominion of the Sword team for giving us access to it. And so, yeah, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's been a long time coming, so we're almost there, guys. We're just about there, and we're all going to be able to pour hours and hours into this awesome mod. Don't ask me if I have any inside information about the release date. I do not. And yeah, I had a pleasure bringing this to you guys. So yeah, see ya. And there you have it. Another TWN has come to a close. Be sure to follow Total War Center on Twitter, read our publications, listen to our podcasts, and watch our shows, because we do them for free. All right, until next time, see you.